Hey everybody, Brandon Boyd with the Brandon Boyd Show. Thank you so much for watching. We've got a very unique edition of the Brandon Boyd Show today, and we'll get into that. Before we get started, don't forget to be awesome. Give me a thumbs up on the video if you find it helpful or entertaining, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you find the information useful. And I think that you will today because I am joined by Derrick Dye. Everybody know who Derrick is? Anybody know at all?
Probably not, Brandon.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. I'll give everybody the quick rundown because I think you're a very important person in the Points and Miles community. You're an attorney by day, blogger and podcaster by night. You're a private pilot, a Points and Miles addict, and I'll let you tell your story of how you got started here. But you do quite a bit. I don't know how you sleep, first of all, but you've got over 20 million plus points or miles earned, and you started the Travel on Points Facebook group in 2019, which if you're not on that, what are you doing? It's a tremendous group, great community of people there that can help answer questions, including Derrick. So I built you up there a little bit, Derrick, but in our discussion today, we're going to talk about the top 10 mistakes that new people to credit cards make. I'm excited. I think this is going to be fun.
Yeah, I hear all the time about this thing called sleep, and I don't really believe in it. So, if you're alive and breathing, you might as well be working. So that's what we do. Luckily, Points and Miles are also a hobby, so it's not all work. But I somehow managed to make it a job, and it's great. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love the adrenaline rush that comes with hitting a massive sign-up bonus or finding a new play to earn some points. And I'm a full-on Points and Miles addict.
Now, you got into this about 15 years ago is roughly what you told me, I think. How did you get into it, first of all? And then we'll get into our top 10 list. But I mean, how did you get hooked? What was the turning point for you?
So I got hooked actually because of my wife. I've casually been playing the game. I love saving money. I love getting a good deal. And I as I told you, I initially got into the game at a kind of elevated level when I learned the Southwest trick about every 8th flight being free. I quickly learned, even when I had no money, I could buy, back then it was $29 flights. I could buy seven of them and fly as expensive of a flight for the 8th flight as I could find. I loved it. But I didn't do much with that. I moved on to a Capital One Venture card, used those Points and Miles not to transfer to partners and fly first class. I used them to erase my private pilot flying lessons, which coded as travel, surprisingly. So once I learned it coded as travel, I erased a lot of that. While I was working on my private pilot's license in 2015, my wife joined a bunch of Points and Miles groups on Facebook, and she really got addicted. I thought she was going to ruin her credit, and she would ruin mine if I went down the same path. But
everybody has that moment when you're first starting, right? You're like,
absolutely.
How badly are you going to screw me up here, honey? I don't know. This sounds like I'm jumping off a cliff. We don't have a parachute. Are you sure about this?
Right. And this is a spoiler alert for the top 10 list. But the reason there is a top 10 list for beginners is because we all make the same exact mistakes. And one of them, I don't think we're going to talk about it today, but don't get hung up on credit scores. I have really good credit. Brandon, you and your wife have really good credit. My wife has really good credit. Between the four of us, we probably have over 100 credit cards, and we have good credit. We still have our homes. We're not massively in debt. That's definitely a myth. I was a believer of that I was going to ruin my credit by opening up cards. Don't believe it. So my wife, luckily, was persistent. She convinced me to join this game 5.5, 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. No looking back. Like I do everything in life, full steam ahead. Make it a job rather than just a casual side gig, and let's see where we can go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll build you up a little bit more here, Derrick. You've got over 15,000 members on Travel on Points now, and you've only been starting that group for about 2 years or something, isn't it? Very new.
That's right. We launched at the very end of August in 2019. We had no idea when we did that. 5.5 months later, a worldwide pandemic would shut down the travel world. No one would want to travel or sign up for credit cards.
Perfect timing for a new travel group. You nailed it.
My timing is impeccable, right?
Stay tuned for Derrick's stock tips coming to be on the next episode. We'll see how it goes. I don't know.
Luckily, my work ethic is slightly better than my luck or my timing.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, definitely a unique time to start a Facebook group. And with that said, I think people have got a pretty good feel for you, and we'll get a better feel for each other here as we go along. And Derrick and I have met in person. The Travel on Points group, by the way, if you are new to Points and Miles, does host new basic card member webinars. How often do those go on?
We're currently doing those monthly. The next one will be on, I believe, December 13th. We usually do those at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. They are free for anyone. Come join us, and you can get live moderators and admins of the top Facebook group to answer any and all questions you have as a beginner.
Yeah, so any details on the group and then on that monthly webinar, that'll be down in the description below. So make sure you check that out as we go through the video. With all that said, it is time. The moment we've all been waiting for. I think we just get into the list. And at number one on the list, I think if we don't bring this one up first, that we're doing ourselves a disservice, because I'm sure it will be referenced multiple times during the call. And it is people new to the credit card and points and miles game ignore the Chase 524 rule. I feel like I've talked about it ad nauseum on this channel. But do you want to give a quick explanation of what that is? I've talked about it so much, I hear it in my sleep. But
believe it or not, Brandon, I've talked about it a lot as well. I think we all have. I tell you, and with this first beginner mistake, we talk about ignoring 524. We kind of gloss over the first piece of that you understand 524.
Yep.
Obviously, we're already taking the step that you know what 524 is, you're familiar with it, and you know your 524. If you don't, you can watch Brandon's video on that, or you could come to my group and read our blog post, or find us at travel-on-points.com. 524 is a Chase-only rule, and it indicates that Chase will not approve you for a new Chase card if you have opened up 5 or more credit cards from anyone, personal credit cards from any bank in the last 24 months. Most business cards do not add to that count, although some banks do. We won't get into those nuances.
Yeah,
that's the general rule. And why is it so important? Well, if Chase didn't have this rule, it wouldn't be important, obviously, but they do. And this is a hard and fast rule. There is no way to get around it. You can't know a banker anymore and get approved for cards if you are 624 or 724. It's a line in the sand and you cannot cross it.
Well, and the other reason you really want to pay attention to this is because Chase offers, in general, some of the best cards on the market right now. So if you're going to be in the points and miles game, you're going to have a Chase card in your wallet at some point if you really plan to build up your, your currencies, your ultimate rewards and stuff like that. Otherwise, you're doing yourself a disservice. So it's really important to keep in mind those particular rules with Chase because, like Derrick said, it is a hard and fast rule. Know that up front. Repeat it to yourself every night before you go to bed if you're new to points and miles. But I think really everything should start from there because you can build a really solid strategy and collect millions of points. Building around that, you could obviously ignore it altogether, and there's a lot of people that do that. But I think for beginners, it's always good to know that 524 rule before jumping in the game.
And I will tell you, Brandon, I've been in the space for 6 years now, basically full time, having my own group for over 2 years now. For every person that comes and tells me, hey, look, I ignored 524. I don't care. And I am A-okay with that. For every one of those, there's dozens that say, yeah, I didn't really know my 524, or I knew it and I ignored it and went after, massive Amex sign-up bonuses, or I fly AA, so I went for the AA card. There's dozens of those that say, I should have not done that, stuck with Chase. And now I'm only opening business cards, which don't add to 524, to wait to get back under 524 to go back and get the Chase cards they could have got in the very beginning if they'd listened to us.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Yeah, you got to wait till you get out of 524 jail. You'll hear a lot of people reference that down in comments. I'm still in 524 jail. I got to do my time. I got to serve my time. You'll save time if you just do the homework up front and make sure you know the rule and work around it, whether you ignore it or just, follow by it, at least know it.
Yeah, agreed. And it can be annoying But you can't overemphasize the importance. Like Brandon said, every night, think about it, every day. In the back of your mind as an award traveler, whether you're new or old, hey, I'm Derrick Dye, I'm 724. The next card's dropping off in 3.5 months. You need to know this because it not only is it important, and you need to not ignore it, as we tell you, don't make that beginner mistake and ignore 524. It lays out all of your strategy for months in advance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good way to wrap that one up. Derrick, let's move on to number 2. And do you have these in front of you, or do you want me to read these out?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll let you go over the second one.
So number 2 is, again, a classic beginner mistake, which I've made myself, and I can tell that story. You do not want to get lured into these super high, eye-popping number sign-up bonuses. Delta and Hilton are notorious for these.
Yes.
Sign up for our card, we'll give you 200,000 points.
Wow, Derrick, I want to sign up for that right now. 200,000, I'm taking that. Where's it at?
Guess what? Millions of people take that bait. Guess what? Yours truly did it 14 years ago. My friend said, let's fly to the Caribbean, and we're going to fly this airline. And I'm like, oh, look at all those points I could get. So I grabbed it. Not smart, because until, as a beginner, you probably don't know the value of points and miles on your own. And if you haven't done the research to know that, you might be signing up for 200,000 Mexican pesos or Indian rupees.
Yeah,
it's not US dollars.
Yeah, they don't equate to each other. A Hilton Honors point does not equate to a Chase Ultimate reward or a membership reward from American Express. It's like you said, it's almost like comparing pesos with dollars here. We're talking about two different things, right? Somebody says, I'll give you 1,000 pesos. Well, that's $80 American or something like that. I don't know what the conversion is, but you see the 1,000, you're like, heck yeah. Oh, it's in pesos. All right. Same thing with the Hilton Honors points, right? And I think Hilton's even run promos on some of their cards where they're upwards of 200,000 points. I put a video out in the last couple months on that. They're very high. They're very, they're very interesting when you see them. They're the eye-popping number. But what can you get with it? At the end of the day, your money or your points is only as good as what you can get with it.
That's right. It doesn't matter how many points you have. If they aren't worth anything, it doesn't matter if you have billions of them, right? And again, this is the classic beginner mistake because we were there too. You don't know what points and miles are worth. All you see are numbers. You probably don't understand these points are worth X. Those points are worth Y. Y is worth more than X. You don't know any of that. So you either need to reach out to someone, you need to join Facebook groups, you need to watch YouTube videos, you need to read blogs to figure out what points and miles are worth and really get an understanding of that before you just go out and sign up for these eye-popping sign-up bonuses. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Moving on to number 3, I'll read this one. This is getting cards without a plan to meet the min spend. And Derrick, as probably everyone is aware, you get a lot of your value the first year on that welcome offer and the min spend, whether it be $3,000 in 3 months or $10,000 in 6 months. Whatever the card may be, that's where you'll get these astronomical sign-up offers that we just talked about, like the 100,000 membership rewards or the 200,000 Hilton Honors points. It's all predicated on you meeting the minimum spend. And if you can't do that, you don't have a plan. Essentially, to me, I think it's a gigantic waste of money because that money could be shifted to another card that you could have maybe met the min spend on. Maybe you picked the wrong card. And it could also be a sign that you're in a bad financial position to be jumping into points and miles and getting into cards as well. Right. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of negatives to opening up a card without a plan and not hitting that minimum spend. Number one, you have a hard pull for maybe nothing. You opened up a new account, which obviously, as we just mentioned, adds to your 524. When you open up any card, when you take a hard pull, assuming you're approved, you need to hit that minimum spend. This game is won and lost on hitting lucrative sign-up bonuses, 50,000 points here, 100,000 points there. You need a plan. Otherwise, at the end, when you're cutting close, you may overspend on things you don't need to try and hit it, or, almost as bad. It's not as bad as overspending going into credit card debt, but almost as bad is just giving up and not hitting that lucrative bonus.
Yeah, and the other thing I'll say about meeting the spin, and this is just a personal story. When I got the World of Hyatt card, there was a minimum spend on there, right? And I went $200 over the minimum spend. I thought I was good to go, but I wasn't seeing my reward certificate show up. So I was like, well, what's going on here? What's the deal? So I called and they said, well, you had a product that was returned or there was a refund on an amount. So even though I had spent over the threshold, the return negated that, and I was off by like $75 on my spin. Yeah. So luckily I still had time to get there, but I would also recommend don't only meet the min spend, give yourself a little wiggle room in case you have some of those returns or you have something processed where somebody gives you money back, because even though you spend that money, that, money put back in the account will negate that and you may not get your full reward. So just keep that in mind as well. That's just a little personal story.
100%. I like to say try and go over by 10%. And while you're doing that and calculating your spend, also remember, no cards count the annual fee that you pay towards that minimum spend. So whatever that annual fee is, go ahead and deduct that. It will not count for the bonus.
Yeah, I was trying to be a little too cute there, Derrick. I was like, yeah, I'll just go like $150 over. I'm good. I got it. I nailed it this time. The one time I didn't nail it. You know what I mean? And I would have been so pissed if I missed out on a free night certificate with Hyatt because I didn't spend $75.
That's right. Yeah. And it happens to the best of us. So don't let that beginner mistake happen to you.
Absolutely. What's next, Derrick?
Moving on to number 4, classic beginner mistake. Mine and Sarah's biggest mistake in the game. When you join this game, most people think they are not eligible for business cards for whatever reason. They think, well, I work a 9 to 5. I don't do anything on the side. I don't have a registered business like an LLC, something like that. I'm not eligible for business cards. You're probably wrong. And if you don't go out on a limb, take that leap of faith and apply, you're leaving extremely lucrative sign-up bonuses that also don't add to your 524 on the table. So you need to, again, reach out to folks, read blog posts, watch YouTube videos, listen to Brandon. You probably are eligible for business cards unless you're on a visa or something that doesn't allow you to engage in business practices and business endeavors. You probably are eligible, and you need to go out there and try and become comfortable with applying for those because it can be extremely lucrative.
Yeah, absolutely. The sign-up offers on some of these business cards are absolutely insane. I'm just thinking of one we've done recently, and actually my wife did as well, for the Business Platinum card, 150,000 membership rewards. I mean, those add up very, very quickly. I love membership rewards from American Express. Typically, the spends are a little bit higher with the business cards, but the rewards are freaking amazing. So
you just can't beat 150,000 points, upwards of $3,000 or more for one credit card sign-up.
And the other thing is, like you mentioned earlier, you don't have to have a major corporation to open up a business. That's not what this is at all. If you want to open up a dog walking business as a sole proprietor, open it up. That's do something, right? A babysitting business. It could be anything, a business that you're thinking about starting. Now, Derrick, let me ask you this, and I'll put you on the spot here a little bit. How do you feel about business cards being used as cards outside of business for catch-all cards?
Not a problem.
I'm thinking of the Business Unlimited, the Ink Unlimited with Chase, and maybe the BBP for American Express, with the multipliers there. What are your thoughts on that?
Banks do not care. I was having this conversation earlier today. Generally, banks, number one, want to approve you. Again, that's why you're probably eligible for business cards. They want to approve you for a business card. And then they want you to swipe it for whatever you will swipe it for. They make money off swipe fees. They make money off folks paying interest. Don't be one of those. But they want you to be approved and open an account, and then they want you to swipe it. So once you sign up for a business card and determine you are eligible and you're approved, put whatever you want on it. Of course, talk to your CPA if you actually have a business. But you can put whatever spend on there you want on an ongoing basis, but also to hit that minimum spend.
And this goes back to point number 1 that we talked about with the 524 rule with Chase. Again, if you care about that and you want to keep that as part of your strategy, business cards are a great way to build up a ton of points, whatever currency you're trying to get, while you're, trying to stay under 524 or you're in 524 gel, whatever it is, you can still rack up a ton of rewards. So make sure that you sign up for business cards. All right, so here we go. I'm going to move on to number 5, Derrick, if you're good with that. Number 5 is one that probably all of us have run into, especially if you have, upwards of 10, 20, 30 cards like we do. And that is too much, too fast. Fear of missing out on a card. I've got to have everything that there is out there. Obviously, there's a couple of issues with that. Number one, different card issuers have rules on how many cards you can have just in general of particular types. All right, we've already talked about Chase and American Express and others have their own rules, but it also raises a lot of red flags with card issuers. So, if they're pulling your credit and they say, holy crap, Brandon, you've opened 4 Chase cards in the last 12 months and you're trying to open 3 more with American Express. And if you're trying to open something with Citi, they'll be like, so you've got 7 hard pulls on your credit. What do you need us for? What's going on here? And it could almost put you as more of a liability to them. Maybe you're a bigger risk because you're playing too hard, too fast.
Agreed. Yeah. And this goes back to what I was talking about earlier under beginner mistake number 1 about the 524 and planning out months in advance. The best way to play this game, in my mind, is to have a plan, to know at the beginning of the year, I want to earn X amount of points. I'm going to try and open up X amount of cards. More, if it happens, is great. Mm-hmm. But having a plan and sticking to it generally, unless something new or some crazy new offer is introduced, that really helps you avoid this FOMO, fear of missing out, and really going too far, too fast. And anyone can fall into that trap. So have a plan, stick to it. If something amazing comes by, sure, you can deviate a little bit. But, the days of, I remember back 2015, 2016, people doing aparamas, as we call them, opening up 6 to 10 cards in one day. Those days are gone. They're probably not coming back. Now, having said that, it's not like the wild world of earning points and miles at crazy rates are gone. We're still in, I think, the best time ever to earn points and miles. Incredibly high sign-up bonuses. It's just you can't churn cards at the pace you could 5 to 10 years ago. There's still plenty of opportunities for everyone to earn more points and miles than they could spend in a year. You just can't do it at a velocity of opening cards rate like you once could.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, and I won't speak for you, Derrick, maybe you can say this, but I mean, I've pushed the limits on how many cards I could get within a limited window, and I've had pushback on it. I've got denied. I've had to call reconsideration lines, and sometimes it's not worked out. All right. I mean, just full honesty. So I push it to the limit as much as I can. I'm sure you've probably called a reconsideration line once or twice in your life. That's right. That's just, again, I'm just throwing that out there. I didn't know.
I may or may not have opened 19 cards myself in 2019. So I have, fallen in this trap of the beginner mistakes myself, even 5 years deep in the game. And it does lead to some recon calls to try and get approved from denials. It does lead to outright denials. And again, even opening 19 cards in a year myself, I had a plan and I knew, okay, I'm good to, I know this bank's application rule. I'm okay because I'm within their window. And then after that, I can go to these 2 or 3 cards because I will also meet that bank's application rules. If you just sit down at a computer and start signing up for card after card after card, you're not going to get very far in the long run. You may be able to open 6 to 10 cards in the first 6 months, but then you're going to start seeing a lot of denials.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of, terms and conditions on cards and rules, you being an attorney, I'm sure you love reading all the paperwork and everything like that. So Derrick's a good person to pick his brain on with terms and conditions. I'm sure you wanted me to tell everybody that, but I just didn't.
Yeah.
Here we are.
If there's terms and conditions there, I've probably read it a couple of times.
Okay. We'll move on to number 6 here. And that is something I think is very easy to do, even if you're not in points and miles and you're not interested in credit cards really that much. And that is applying for every card that comes in the mail. All right. I get them all the time. I get a ton of Discover card mailers. They have killed a small rainforest in the amount of Discover card, mailers that I've gotten, but they're always offering some kind of really exciting thing on the front of the envelope that's really glossy. It makes you think it's the best thing since sliced bread. And it's really easy just to pick that up and say, hey, I needed a credit card. I want to start doing this. I'll just take this when it came in the mail today.
Yeah. And this beginner mistake could also be titled, spoiler alert, pre-selected and selected for you. It's not. It went out to
but it's for me. It says
people.
It's for me. They looked at my credit. They looked at my Facebook profile. You know, they've looked. They know who I am. They did this for me.
Yeah. You and 50 million other Americans, right?
Yeah.
And again, I know it's really cool. Hey, I'm ready for a new credit card. And oh, by the way, this came in the mail today. It looks like it's a good offer. Well, you know, not comparing it to anything, maybe it is a good offer. But what happens if that's, you know, a lot of times these mailers aren't even the best available offer out there, much less, you know, they make it sound like it's, you know, obviously for you, but it's some elevated offer that other people can't get. Sometimes it's not even as good as the public offer that's available to everyone. For a lot of banks, you can be referred from your spouse, friend, or family member. So you're losing those referral points. Really think about any application that you're going to do from any type of ad, be it online, in the mail, what have you. Really think about it. Spend some time comparing it to see if it is the best available offer, if it's the right card for you, along with some of our other beginner mistakes. And then think about that third piece. Is there a referral I could get to help a friend or family, or my wife or husband or boyfriend or girlfriend? And let's see how we can stack this to make it as lucrative as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the referral offers are key, right? I mean, sometimes, you know, your link or my link may have a high referral offer. There's some cases where it's not the highest offer. There's, you know, referral offers I've seen from other places that are higher, or other public offers, whatever it is. Always shop around for the highest offer. At the end of the day, just look around, right? Shop just like you would at the store. Find the best price on something. When you're doing cards, find the highest sign-up offer on something. Of course, if you can help out a friend or family member, all things being equal, that's even better. So, you know, they target you as well. I mean, if you're a Costco member, for example, you're probably going to get Costco credit cards, you know, in the mail. Sign up for the Costco card. You're a Costco member. What's holding you up? What's the problem? They're targeting you. They know what they're doing. They spend billions of dollars a year to try to get you to open these suckers up. That's why they can afford the glossy envelopes, you know, and they look very lucrative.
Exactly.
Yeah. What we got next? Number 7.
So,
I think we're number 7. Lucky number 7.
Yeah. Number 7. And in ways it probably should be number 1. And we, I know you stress it. You and Kayla stress it. We stress it and travel on points. Never, ever carry a balance. And to go along with that, never, ever spend money you weren't planning to spend, or that you can't afford to spend on these credit cards to earn credit card rewards. While these credit card rewards are extremely lucrative, Brandon and Kayla, myself and my wife, we've flown on very expensive flights, stayed in $1,000 plus a night hotel rooms for free. That is quickly negated, even in 1 month, if you do not pay off your balance and you're paying interest, sometimes upwards of 30% on a credit card balance. Don't do it. Don't even start this game if you are paying credit card debt. You can come talk to Brandon or I and figure out a way to get a 0% interest credit card, perhaps, to pay off that debt. But don't get into the travel rewards game with these travel rewards cards with this high interest if you're not paying off your balance. And if you do find yourself in the game and you're suddenly paying interest on a credit card, stop.
Yeah.
Stop immediately. Don't sign up for any new cards. Talk to someone, figure out a plan to pay off that credit card debt as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and I'm coming at this whole game too. I was a former Dave Ramsey financial coach, all right? So, I mean, talking about credit cards in front of me 5 years ago, it would have been like holding up a cross to a vampire. No, you can't do that. No, don't do it. So I'm coming at it from that perspective. If you don't have the money, just don't do it, because the interest on these cards, if you have late payments or what have you, it's going to be 24, 28%. And it could put you in this perpetual cycle where you're never able to dig out of the hole. Once you start, it's really easy just to keep digging yourself deeper and deeper. And without a plan, and in particular, I recommend everybody have just a budget in general to make sure you don't overspend on cards. I think Derrick hit on a really good point there. Don't just go overspend to meet a minimum spend or to get some kind of extra reward. If it's just extra money you're blowing that you weren't going to get anyone, that you weren't going to use. You know, you can get into a lot of trouble with that.
that sign up bonus is not worth it if you go buy a $4,000 TV the day the sign up, the card arrives to get that sign up bonus, and you were never intending.
Well, no, that's worth it. No, wait. Well, no, that's not worth it. That's not worth it. You're right. It's not worth it.
Right. Yeah.
$4,000 TV would be very nice, but
it would if someone else were paying it. Yeah. But again, like we were talking earlier, all this again has to do with a plan. If you have a plan to meet the minimum spend, this shouldn't happen. And you kind of see a theme how these beginner mistakes all kind of roll together. Have a plan first to open the card, have a plan to meet the minimum spend, and you should then have a plan to pay off the money you spent because you were planning to spend it in the first place. Don't go swiping just to get a sign-up bonus. It is not worth it.
Absolutely. Derrick, moving on to number 8. I find a lot of this out there with people that are new to points and miles. And even myself, I can think back to when I saw the annual fees on some of these cards. Number 8 is basically being afraid of cards with higher annual fees. And, this past year, we've seen some pretty significant annual fee increases on premium cards. And a lot of people will see those and even the mid-tier cards and say, I don't want to spend $250 on an annual fee. I don't want to spend $695 on a business platinum or a regular platinum card. I want, the $0 annual fees or the $95 annual fees. That's a tough hurdle to get over, but I will say if you're wanting to rack up big rewards, it does come with a bigger annual fee typically, right? Your $0 annual fee cards may be great for catch-all cards or something like that on your everyday purchases, but you're probably not going to see those gigantic bonuses where you can really balloon, your ultimate rewards or your membership rewards or something like that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, generally that is true. Most of the massive sign-up bonuses where the massive, we were talking earlier about the 150, 200,000 point bonuses on certain cards aren't worth it. But these actual massive bonuses with $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 sign-up bonuses, those are typically on your higher annual fee cards. Yeah. You're right. And it can be scary. And I get it. Who wants to pay $600 for a credit card for 1 year, right? But and again, this is an overgeneralization. It's not always true, but it is almost always true. Almost any card is worth it for year one for the sign-up bonus, right?
I can justify anything for the first year. I don't know if I've ran across a card that's not worth it for the first year. It's few and far between.
Right. I can point out a few, like the MasterCard, those black cards and the gold card that all they do is talk about their weight. Those things aren't worth the $400. They have no perk,
it's significant. That's a status symbol.
It's heavy. Yeah, that's a great credit card. It's heavier than your current Amex Platinum. Sign up for this one. Ooh. But yeah, if you have a plan to hit that sign-up bonus and you hit the sign-up bonus, almost any sign-up bonus, especially on these transferable currency cards, membership rewards, City Thank You points, Chase Ultimate Rewards cards, the first year that sign-up bonus is going to be worth way more than the annual fee. I know it's not fun to pay $695 after January 1st for Amex Biz Platinum, but if you get 150,000 points, you can fly first class to Japan for only 120,000. I don't know about you, but I'd pay $595 to fly to Japan in first class.
Yeah, I'll take that every day of the week. And then even beyond the first year, right? Because again, we can justify anything for the first year. A lot of these cards do have enough credits on them, if you find the right fit for you, of course, to be able to offset that annual fee and be a money maker for you. Just like you mentioned, the Business Platinum card, there's the $400 worth of Dell credits. I've got my Christmas shopping done with any tech products on Dell for the year. $200 airline credit, $120 wireless credit, 35% miles back, and a 1.5 times multiplier on categories and larger spends. So, I mean, you look at that, that's well over the $695 value or annual fee. But if you just looked at the annual fee, you may run out of the room and say you're nuts. But really break it down and make sure that the card is a good fit. Even though it's offering a lot of credits, are they the credits that you want to use? And is that enough to offset the annual fee to get you over the hump there?
Yeah. And in today's world, as we mentioned earlier, great time for sign-up bonuses. It's also a great time for credit card benefits. All of these weird benefits, like you're talking about, Dell credits, airline credits, wireless credits, so on and so forth. Credit cards have never had as many credits and benefits and perks as they have now. So while the annual fees are going up, So are the benefits and perks. You got to learn your benefits and you need to maximize them.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like we're in this arms race right now. There's like this credit cards arm
Good
race.
point.
You know what I mean? It's like they're all trying to outpace each other. I feel like I'm a kid in 1984, watching the Cold War arms race, all this kind of stuff. Only it's with, American Express, Chase City, and a handful of others as well. So it's really interesting to see them try to outdo one another. But I would also say some of the credits are pretty worthless on these high-end cards. All right, that Equinox credit on the American Express Platinum makes me want to vomit. All right, that really upsets me.
Yeah,
because there's not an Equinox within like 300 miles of my house, right? But, you get this credit. Well, great. I'll drive 300 miles to the gym. That's great.
Yeah, take a flight to New York City once a month to go to the gym and burn a $10 credit.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I mean. Just because they offer the credit, make sure it's something that you actually are going to use. What we got next, Derrick? We're on number 9.
So this is a classic beginner mistake. Everyone at some point has thought this or done it. Just because you fly X airline or stay at X hotel, you think you need that hotel or airline's credit card. Is that right? No. A lot of times, again, like with the Delta cards, not to pick on Delta, they have these massive sign-up bonuses. Mm-hmm. Also, their rewards are massive. Mm-hmm. Some of the best ways to book Delta award flights is not with Delta. It's with Flying Blue, which is Air France and KLM, one of their SkyTeam partners, or with Virgin Atlantic. Yep. Virgin Atlantic and Flying Blue are both transfer partners of Chase and Amex and Citi and others. So you don't go get a Delta card to fly Delta in this instance. You can get all the Chase cards. You can get Chase business cards. You can get Amex membership rewards cards, Amex business cards, and Citi thank you cards. And then after you get all those, you have 10 or 20 cards, you could go get a Delta card. And beginners that don't know this and don't understand, and gosh, who did? I certainly didn't know about booking with partners. Until you know this, you would think, well, if I want to fly on Delta, I need a Delta card.
Got to have it.
Couldn't be more wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is one I think that hits everybody, right? When you get your first, and I think it even goes to, what was your first credit card? Maybe when you got out of high school, you got your first credit card. Maybe it was a Chase card. Maybe it was an American Express card. And you feel this sense of duty to that particular card. You guys were here when I first got started. I gotta stick with you. But at the end of the day, you should shop around all the time. Just like you should shop around your car insurance or, your TV bill or anything like that. You should shop around and make sure that the people that you are treating or giving your loyalty to are giving you the same amount of loyalty by giving you the best rewards. Maybe they're not. Maybe there's another card issuer that's going to have something better. You can have more than one card issuer in your wallet. It's not that big of a deal, especially if you're going to do points and miles as a strategy to really rack up and do a lot of travel. You're going to have to do it at some point.
Absolutely. Not only can you have multiple banks' cards in your wallet, you should, right? Yep. You should. It's beneficial. Even if you're not a big-time churner. Let's say you're traveling and, Bank of America, let's say that's your only card, they send out a fraud alert because you're traveling, forgot to notify them. All of a sudden, you're in a foreign city or maybe just away from home in the United States. You don't have a credit card that works. Yep. But if you have 4 or 5 bank cards, multiple cards there, you've got multiple other options before making that phone call to the bank to turn it off. There's many, many reasons outside of churning credit cards for travel rewards to diversify your banking and your credit card needs. And that's example 1 right there.
Yeah. And, to wrap it all up with number 10, do you want to do a drum roll? I don't know if there's a delay on Zoom or not, so we can do a drum roll. I don't know if there's an echo, but do it. I'll let you read number 10, Derrick. I'll do the drum roll.
Paralysis by analysis.
There we go.
And it can't be oversimplified or understated. Everyone has it. If you've ever read a Points and Miles blog, if you've ever joined a travel rewards group, so many acronyms, so many credit cards, so many using points to book this airline, to fly another airline, to lay over these 7 airports. Mm-hmm. It's literally like trying to drink out of a fire hose. No one can comprehend it all early on. It's just too much. So everyone is at some point. You are just paralyzed by analysis. What should I do? Well, the best thing to do is what Brandon and I talk about. You need to talk with, meet, mingle with like-minded folks, because they can help you. There's nothing like, hey, Brandon, I've got these 7 cards. I need a new card for this spin next week. What should I do? Even if you're not a newbie, Brandon could come up with something you probably haven't thought about or haven't considered. I still, I'm 50 plus cards deep. I run all of my credit card decisions by someone else because there's always something else to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to say, this isn't really just for beginners. This is for people that maybe are a year or two into this, 5 years into this. Sometimes you're in the weeds so much on things that you really can't take an outside, like 10,000 foot view of everything and say, hey, why are you doing that? That doesn't make any sense. But when you're in it, it's sometimes hard to see that. And like you said, I think, reaching out to the folks on your Facebook group, Travel on Points, very helpful community. Of course, people can comment on the videos here, but people are getting bombarded with YouTube videos, Facebook ads, mailers, all kinds of different things. And if you go on YouTube and you start going down the rabbit hole of credit cards, you'll end up, watching videos for like 8 hours straight. And before you know it, you'll be more confused than you were when you started, because there's a video on why this is good, why this is bad, why I like this card, why this card sucks and you should never do it. Right. At the end of the day, if I ever put out a video like that, which I have, what I am doing for my personal strategy or what Derrick does for his personal strategy, I would say may not be exactly what you need. So even though we may like a card, it may not fit your particular strategy. But if you can give us your scenario and your reasoning for why you're needing something or what you're looking for, we can help, certainly, because there's not a one size fit all on all these cards for sure.
Agreed. And don't forget, there's nothing wrong with it. There is always someone in this game that knows more than you, either generally or about something specific. I can't possibly know all of the airlines in the world or all of the hotel programs. I know a lot about most. I can't possibly know all. And I've been doing this for 6 years, pretty much day in and day out. Someone always knows more than you. So the more people you reach out to, the more help you can get, especially on these specific issues. And you can really take some of the pressure off and know, you know what, this person knows what they're talking about. They're giving me great advice. And I think this will work for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, I really enjoyed this list. This was fun to put together. I do have one more curveball I'm going to throw at you here, Derrick. So go ahead and start sweating a little bit and get nervous. But before I do that, I want to make sure to remind everybody, if you haven't already, while you've been watching this video, just open up another, page on your browser or something like that. Go to Travel on Points on Facebook and go ahead and sign up for the group. I really like the way you guys have moderated that. It's a very helpful group. It's not filled with the typical griping and complaining. It's really people sharing their stories, people sharing their what kind of referral offers they've got and what they're hearing when they speak to the reconsideration line, what their strategy is. And I think it's extremely helpful. Also check out the webinars monthly. We'll put the information for that down in the description below as well. But Derrick, I'm going to have some fun here right at the end. This is my show, so I feel like I have to throw you one curveball, all right?
Let's do it.
Just so people can get to know you a little bit better, because this may not be the last time you're on the show, right? I mean, this may be a recurring thing. We'll talk about different topics. So I'm going to play a lightning round. I want you to give me quick answers. You're an attorney. You can think really fast on your feet, so I'm sure you'll have some good answers. And this will help us get to know you a little bit better. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Number one, favorite destination where you redeem points and why?
It'd probably be going to Sydney, Australia. It was the first time we had flown business class. The day they announced the brand new flight, Houston to Sydney on United, I hopped on the computer at 5 a.m., I believe, found return flights coming back, immediately booked them. Back then it was 70,000 United points transferred from Chase as an 18-hour flight in Polaris business class. We lucked out and got business on the outbound same flight, Houston to Sydney, the day before departure. Stayed at the Park Hyatt Sydney, favorite hotel redemption ever. Definitely the nicest hotel I've stayed in. Just a wonderful trip. That's back in 2018, and it created a monster because once I flew business class, I knew I couldn't go to the back of the bus anymore.
Absolutely. Derrick, you're stranded on a desert island. What bourbon are you taking with you?
None, just credit cards.
There we go. That's pretty good. Favorite hotel reward program and why?
Hyatt. Was that fast enough?
Yeah. that was good. We'll move on to the next one. No, but why? Why do you like Hyatt? Why is that your favorite?
Crazy value. You want to stay at a airport for a quick, easy, clean, comfortable room. 5,000 points for a Category 1 Hyatt. For those of you unfamiliar with Hyatt points, a Chase Sapphire 60,000 point sign-up bonus right now could get you 12 nights for free at one of those hotels. Hyatt does not pass on any taxes. So it's completely free for 12 nights. And I love the Park Hyatt brand, and that same sign-up bonus can get you 2, 3, 4 nights at a Park Hyatt.
Yeah, absolutely. We're big fans of Hyatt. That's usually where we try to stay. Favorite Christmas movie and why? It's the season.
Probably.
Don't say Die Hard because that's not a Christmas movie.
It's not a Christmas movie.
I'm
not a big Christmas fan, but I'd probably go with A Christmas Story just because it's nostalgic. And I had a mini BB guns and loved to shoot my cousins and sometimes my sister growing up. That's probably not allowed anymore, is it?
I don't know. We'll find out. You're an attorney. I'm sure you can do some digging on that somewhere. What is your threshold for driving for a trip versus flying? I know you have your pilot's license, but what's your cutoff?
Yeah, I drive a lot for work during the day. Today I was on the road 2 hours each way. I drive about 30,000 miles a year for work, so I try and not drive on my own time. If there's a flight going, I will do it. I've flown as short as 17-minute flights before to avoid driving. But generally on my own time, probably not more than 2 or 3 hours.
Okay, that's pretty good. Mine's about 5 hours. I actually don't mind driving. I was in medical sales for 15 years, so I'm used to driving long distances. It really doesn't bother me. But Kayla absolutely hates it. So that's good. I'm glad we got that out of the way. I just wanted to give people a chance again to get to know you a little bit better. Anything else you want to plug here, Derrick? It's your world, man. I'm going to give you the open mic to say whatever you want. Just keep it, kid friendly, right? There may be kids.
Of course. Thanks for having me. I've had a lot of fun. I've loved watching you and Kayla really up your games. You all are definitely at this point, you are points pros. So you're giving your viewers a lot of great tips. If any of your YouTubers want to come over to Facebook and join that black hole, Top tries to be the friendliest group on Facebook. I think we've definitely knocked that out of the park for award travel, especially. You can find us facebook.com/groups/travel on points. You can also find our blog on the web at travel-on-points.com. We have a brand new website launching hopefully in the next 30 days with a bunch of goodies, a bunch of reader-friendly things that no other award travel websites currently have out there. So we're really looking forward to that and taking our 16,000 people on Facebook. And hopefully this time next year, Brandon, we're at 50,000 plus.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Apparently you have sweatshirts too. Hoodies.
Yeah, we got the new swag shop open this week with the brand new logo.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, you can check that out.
Yeah, and I'll invite, if anybody from the Travel on Points groups wants a kind of quirky look at credit cards, I try to have fun with it. I don't take myself too seriously. Life's way too short. And just the gist of my channel, credit cards, points and miles don't have to be boring, right? They don't have to be boring. You can do some exciting stuff. Look at the trips you can take. Look at the memories you can make. And racking up these points to me is like a game. I absolutely love it. I feel like I'm at the high score at the Pac-Man machine, when I'm little. I love seeing the rewards rack up. It's just kind of an adrenaline rush, as weird as that sounds to say. But that's the viewpoint that I take on this channel. Enjoy it. That's meant to have fun with and live it up, man. You only get to do this thing one time. Why not do it with free trips?
That is right. And it's funny, we're recording this today. I hit my wife and I hit our 2021 goals for points and miles earned today. And when I typed in that number on the screen, put us over the threshold, I yelled out loud. It was such a relief. It's so fun. Like I said, I'm fully addicted to this game. It is a game. And like you say, it is when you're doing it, playing it the right way, it is truly an adrenaline rush when you just start accumulating these gobs and gobs of points.
Absolutely. Well, Derrick, we'll wrap up here. If you don't mind, just hang on after we finish up with the closing here. But as a reminder, don't forget to be awesome. If you found this video helpful or entertaining, give me a big thumbs up on the video and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notifications for alerts. And of course, when you click on the Brandon Boyd Show, you'll get the latest information on credit cards, points and miles, travel, money. And hopefully this won't be the last episode with Derrick. And if you'll come back again, if I haven't scared you off at this point, you always the door's open for you to come back in. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks, Brandon.
Who would win in a fight between a grilled cheese sandwich and a taco, and why?
Oh, it'd have to be a grilled cheese sandwich. higher density, higher weight, and less breakage factor. I think one punch from the grilled cheese and the taco's gone.
Okay.
But of course, the attorney in me would have to ask if the taco is soft or hard, because if it's a soft taco, it can probably withstand more force.
Jeez.